Huge news in the DJ world this week. Beatsource has figured out a way to have DJ edits slash remixes legally on their platform. Now, this is really big, especially in this era where DJ edits and remixes have exploded on social media. Having a way to have them legally on a DJ platform such as Beatsource is kind of crazy, especially with these DJ edits and remixes. They kind of live in this gray zone, right? Where they're not completely banned because, they're kind of niche, but also they're not completely legal as the artists and record labels aren't really getting any money from these remixers and editors making and putting out these remix packs for us DJs. So it's kind of wild that Beatsource has come to an agreement with the three major record labels, Sony, Universal, and Warner, to make these remixes and edits available and have them be legal. So for one, these editors and remixers aren't going to have to worry about their work getting taken down. Two, not only are the record label and the artist going to receive a cut because it is via streaming, but also the editors and remixers now have a legal way to make money off of their creative expression or creations. And I'll say, I'm still surprised at this news that they were able to pull this off, right? We've seen in the past where record labels really haven't been that friendly when it came to this kind of content. If you go back to SoundCloud in like 2014, 2012, up to 2016, somewhere around there were a lot of unofficial remixes and edits of very popular songs on that platform. And it was kind of like a free-for-all. Like, you could put up your music and you didn't have to worry about it getting taken down because the record labels weren't really paying attention until they did. And then a lot of people's stuff got taken down, copyright strikes and that and the like, where it became a lot harder to find those edits and remixes. And a lot of those people that were making those edits and remixes just either stopped making them or they moved on to a different platform. Then you had Bandcamp follow that up, and there's still a lot of that content there, but it still lives in that kind of gray zone. Now there's also Patreon as well, and there's still a lot of that content there, but it still lives in that gray zone, right? Where it's not completely illegal because no one's taken legal action, or the record labels haven't taken legal action, but it's not completely legal because the artist and record label aren't getting paid for their work, putting out the original song in the first place. And I've really sat on this for the last few days and tried to put my thoughts together. And first and foremost, I'm really happy for all those editors and remixers, at least this first wave that Beatsource has to put out this content. They have some really talented individuals that I really like on that list. A lot of friends on that list. And I'm glad they're going to be able to have a way to put their work out and also get paid for it and not have to worry about, some type of legal action happening against them, or whatever platform they had it on previously getting taken down or taken away from them, right? That's cool. But on the other hand, there's the flip side of that, where there's some editors out there that have, over the past few years, have built a very strong audience on these platforms, some that I named before, where these people are paying, monthly subscriptions to get access to these like remix packs or edit packs, whatever you want to call them. And for a good amount, or I shouldn't say a good amount, but for some people, they're making a decent amount of money off of that and help paying bills. Maybe some of these people have kids, they have families, and it's become a big part of their income. And from my perspective, they deserve it, right? If you're creating stuff that's useful and people are enjoying and people find use for in their sets, and you've built an audience, you deserve to be paid for your work. And especially if you're setting the price yourself and people are willing to pay it, then you deserve that. And with this whole Beatsource exclusives program moving forward, it kind of puts the writing on the wall that the record labels are now paying attention to DJ edits and DJ remixes, unofficial remixes, and it's more likely that these sites where DJs are having monthly subscriptions and having people pay for their work, that's probably going to go away sooner than later. And with that, if you think about the way streaming has gone for artists since the beginning of Spotify, I'm sure you know that the artists aren't getting paid, a fair wage. I mean, Spotify is, barely a cent per play, like a fraction of a cent per play. And I know that depending on the streaming platform, the artist gets paid different amounts depending on the kind of deal that the streaming platform has structured with the record labels. And I have no inside information on what kind of deal that Beatsource has as far as paying out the artists and record labels when you use Beatsource for streaming. So my thought about that is that if you have a song, like say like a Kendrick song or a Drake song or any other Sabrina Carpenter or whatever, you play that on Beatsource. Say you play the original version and the artist gets paid a cent per play. Let's just make it easy, right? Now, if you're cutting in the editor or remixer, I'm happy they're getting paid, but what fraction of that original, cent are they now getting when they, a DJ plays their version or their edit or remix or exclusive, of that song? Logically, and again, I have no inside information about this, I don't know if that deal's going to change enough where streaming the editor remix or exclusive of that song is going to be a bigger payout than if the original song got played, right? In my example, like if the artist and record label are getting a penny for that play, is the record label gonna give Beatsource 2 cents for the exclusive getting paid, so the remixer or editor can get paid, a cent as well? I don't know. If you know anything about corporate America, that's probably not likely. And then you tie that into how much these editors and remixers are making with their own subscription on monthly subscription sites. How many plays is it going to take to equal the income they would be able to make off of their remixes or edits getting played on Beatsource, rather than someone just going directly to the source and paying the subscription fee? And the counterpoint to that is, with a platform such as Beatsource that's continuing to grow, yes, the audience for your edits and remixes is going to be larger, right? Because there's going to be people that subscribe to Beatsource that have probably never paid for your subscription site before, and now they're getting access to your music, and now you might have a new fan, couple thousand new fans that are playing your edits and remixes regularly, right? So how many plays is it going to take, and how big of an audience is it going to take for those things to balance out? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's a thought that a lot of these editors and remixers have on their mind right now, especially the ones that aren't in this first wave of this DJ exclusive program. It's, a paradigm shift in the whole way that DJ editors have to think about putting out their music. It's not going to be as easy as just building an audience, sending them to a subscription site. You know, while that, how can I put this? While I'm sure DJs will find a way, it's not going to be as easy anymore because there are those eyes of the record labels looking at, you know, this niche of music that we have as far as edits and remixes go. And do I think that these kind of subscription sites will stop completely? If I was going to put my money on it, I'd say no. I would think that there's going to be the next evolution from SoundCloud to Bandcamp to whatever. They're going to find somewhere else to kind of house these subscription sites and put it out that way in the short term. Or if you've kind of established yourself ready and you have a nice mailing list, you could figure it out that way, you know, just email blast and figure out a way to get payment that way for a monthly subscription. There's a lot of different ways, but I think that the platform is going to change. Now, another thought I had about this is maybe this is the beginning of not just Beatsource as a streaming platform or DSP having access to these edits or remixes or what Beatsource is calling their exclusives. Maybe this is the beginning of record labels opening this up to the other major DSPs such as Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc., right? And if that happens, I think, especially with social media being the way it is right now and people hearing these edits and remixes and, you know, DJs playing them or people using them in their short form content for like background sound, people want to be able to go through their Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal and play that editor remix, but currently that's not available. So how many of those people would love to be able to do that? And I think that if the major record labels figure out that this is a good, you know, there's an audience for this and they're making money off of it, down the road, they're going to open it up to the other major streaming services, right? Because they're just going to be able to make more money. And at the end of the day, that's what they're most concerned with, right? Because that's why they take down stuff like off of YouTube or SoundCloud or Bandcamp. You get those copyright strikes. It's because they're not receiving their share of the money. But if this is, you know, the door opening for them to be able to receive money, giving it to the other DSP just opens the door even wider for them to make money off of these DJ edits or remixes. And I'm hoping that this is just a blueprint for the record labels to figure out a way to pay these talented editors or remixers in this way. So when they open it up to the DSPs, now those people that are putting out these unofficial remixes can get paid as well. And I'll leave on this thought. I know this is kind of going long and I'm rambling a little bit, but another big issue that I think DJs are going to have with this is the fact that currently, right now, they don't completely trust streaming services at all, right? I know tons of DJs that use streaming services, be it Beatsource or Apple Music, is because, you know, a lot of people have it and they have access to it in their DJ software, or Tidal, etc. They're still worried about, you know, the Wi-Fi working in the venue. They're still worried about opening up the streaming service in their DJ app crashing, or there's a lot of ifs, right, that stop some DJs from using streaming services regularly or how they normally play their sets. That on top of DJs being the kind of, you know, curmudgeons that they are, wanting to have a physical copy of that music, right? Physical copy meaning an MP3 at this point. But with a streaming service, you don't own that copy of that song, right? It's just streamed from whatever platform, in this case, Beatsource. And while, yes, Beatsource does have the download locker in most DJ softwares where you can have a physical copy on your computer, it's not the same as having the MP3, right? For an example, like if you downloaded a song off of a record pool and say you wanted to make your own short edit of it, you could just take that MP3, throw it into Serato Studio or Ableton, chop it up, bring that back into, or export it and bring it back into your DJ software. Now you have your own personal short version. That's not possible with these streaming tracks, right? Even if you have it in a download locker, you can't find that file on your computer, edit it, and bring it back in. That's just not how it works. And I think a lot of DJs are going to have issues with that. But also, I kind of feel a little like the move from vinyl to DJing on a computer with, you know, Serato or Tractor, whatever it was at the beginning, whatever you used. There was a lot of DJs that didn't want to switch from having vinyl to using a computer because they just didn't trust it. And as time went on, as acceptance happened, you know, it was either evolve or die at that point. So is this the next step in that? Is this the next evolve or die where, hey, if you want those kind of edits and remixes in your library, you're going to just have to hop on the streaming train, and that's that. These are questions I don't have answers to. This is something that I've really been thinking about. I mean, I've embraced streaming from the beginning. The majority of my music is played off of MP3s on my computer, but I still have a streaming service open at all times just in case I need to grab something, you know, a request or whatever it is. It's been very useful since it's been introduced, and I've seen that usefulness, and I use it regularly. Now, because there's this kind of cutoff, will this get mass adoption, and will DJs accept that this is the next phase of DJing and they're just gonna have to go along with it, just like vinyl disappeared in DJ booths, just like turntables disappeared in DJ booths, right? We'll see. I'm very curious to where this leads, but it's an exciting time as far as a big change in the DJ world. And I'm glad, at the end of the day, I'm happy that these very talented editors and remixers now have a way to legally put their work out there and get paid for it. But with that, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. So please leave it down in the comments below. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. This is a huge topic. And of course, shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. I'll go ahead and put their names up here. And if you're looking for more DJ related content, such as coaching, or you just want to support the channel, or I used to put edits on there. Who knows if I'm going to do it anymore with all of this happening? We'll see. But definitely check that out. I'll leave a link down in the description below. And of course, if you found this video useful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you're looking for more DJ related video content, go ahead and click on one of the videos right here. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.